time to talk about Elio. Alan, you did an analysis, and we'll put the link to that video in this review, where you broke down the visuals of Elio and what made the designs and the composition of the shots boring and not up to Pixar and or Disney's classic
69.
standards. Basically, everything is in the center and not following the rule of thirds. But let's really dig into the story, and we will talk spoilers in this review. I've seen the movie get bad to mixed reviews. I have not seen an over-the-top positive anywhere yet. But
well, 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which I'm shocked about. I know the critics that gave it a good review, but I'm telling you, this is the worst Pixar movie ever made. This is what happens when you elevate inexperienced, I'll be polite, inexperienced animators from underrepresented groups to power status when you have a leader who does not say no. You talked about that John Lasseter could always say no, and that was the final answer. Now you have weak leadership, which results in a lackluster story, uninspired. Like you've got it's very DEI in terms of certain characters will be elevated to certain positions, and other characters they're dumb or bullies. You can figure out who the good people are and the bad people are by their identity. I find that just offensive.
Are they cute or are they ugly? Let's go that way.
Yeah, exactly. And put that aside, the designs of the alien characters are terrible. And this idea, this Elio character that's like, oh, I want to be abducted by aliens. And then I got what I wanted. He just gets what he wants too easily. There's no struggle. I sat there thinking, would even little kids like this movie? And the answer to that is no. Now Monsters Inc., which I think is a movie more geared towards the little kids. Same thing with Cars. Those movies still have like a decent story and something relatable. And the great thing about Pixar films, when Pixar is at their best, they work on two levels, for children and adults. And sometimes those two get different things out of the movie, which gives a movie like, say, Toy Story or Up are more meaningful depending on what stage of life you see the film at. Elio is just hot garbage and forgettable. And I get the feeling they're dumping this out there and just getting it over with. So cannot recommend it. 2 out of 10 for me. I think you gave it a 3 out of 10 on the website. But what more can you add to this, Alan?
Yeah. Look, Pixar, for the majority of its life, I would say all the way up to Coco, it was for kids, but it was also for adults. I mean, you can practically point to every film, maybe not Cars 2 or Cars 3, but every film had an element that kids would enjoy and that adults would enjoy. And they've stopped doing that. And Elio there's nothing in Elio that adults will enjoy. I'll give you one prime example. Elio takes place in space. Somehow Pixar managed to make space look boring.
Yeah.
It's like, if I were to imagine Pixar doing space, you would see galaxies, you'd see stars. It would feel three-dimensional. It would feel crisp and clean, meaning you could see every star, every singular star. But in this one, it just felt like something that you get out of a children's textbook or something like that. To make space look boring is a crime. And for Pixar to have committed that crime, it just means that, you would have expected Pixar to have done this. And then to just make this movie so lackluster and so uninspired is the other crime that Pixar has committed here. The last thing I'll say is the biggest crime. I probably said it. The first one was the biggest crime, but the biggest crime here was, when you go out and they showed space, what did they do? They put voiceover of Carl Sagan out there, and to hear Carl Sagan say very profound things about space, overlaid on top of the most boring image of space, is an anathema. It's heresy, and I'll end on this. Kids today, I doubt they know who Carl Sagan is. And so if your target audience is little boys, little boys who like space, little girls who like space, I seriously doubt they know who Carl Sagan is. And then when they hear this voiceover of a man that is never referenced, do they know who they're even listening to? I mean, you would think they would have gone to Neil deGrasse Tyson as the more contemporary. And I'm not saying that Neil deGrasse Tyson is Carl Sagan, but it's just the impression I got with Elio at every single level is hack animators and hack storytellers.
And I will say this: there is a thing where you did in the D files go over the kind of revolution that happened within Pixar, where they ousted John Lasseter.
And most animators who had been with the company for well over 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, they basically pushed out the veterans in favor of uplifting new voices. Lots of new rules came into place. One of those in animation, it's a huge debate, is the identity of the person playing a character must match the character. And when you look at the cast of voice actors for Elio, it's all people that match the ethnicity, race, whatever you want to say, of their character they're playing. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Which kind of limits you. I mean, who cares what a voice actor looks like? If they can do the voice, great, but they really put effort into, that's why I say this thing is very much DEI gentrified storytelling,
watered down or safety.
Watered down. Yeah, this is at best should have gone to Disney Plus only. It should not have gotten a big theatrical release. And Pixar, you are ruining your brand the same way Marvel has ruined its brand by putting your name on it.
Yeah, here I'll spoil something here, and this is something that caught me, but it's the character development of Elio. He starts off as a shy kid who's hiding underneath the cafeteria table at a museum. He's a scared kid who doesn't want to, but somehow changes when he thinks an alien will come, and then so he's trying to send a message out to the aliens to come abduct him. And the only way he could do it is he has a radio, but he needs a ham radio to boost the signal. And so he puts out a fake ad about a fake ham radio club. And a kid comes out and says, "Hey, I saw your ad. I'm into ham radio. I would love to make friends." And what does Elio do? He steals his ham radio.
Right. He doesn't.
Oh, and here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. So the kid he steals the ham radio on later comes to bully him. Why? Well, not because Elio's a scrawny little kid. He bullies him because Elio stole his ham radio. And so we're supposed to feel sympathy for Elio and feel anger toward this kid who had his ham radio stolen.
This is modern storytelling where people are the heroes because of their identity, not because of their actions.
Yeah. What was the race of the kid he stole the radio from?
Well, he was black.
No. He was white.
Oh, no, it was
It was the black friends. It was the black
friend of the black character. Yeah. So he's like pissed. You stole my radio.
Yeah, and he's and so there's a bullying scene which we're supposed to feel bad about because
there isn't. It's weird because I just watched Ironheart, so it's very much fresh in my mind. But Ironheart has the same problem: an unlikable lead character, and there's no save the cat moment. Save the Cat, look it up, is a book that tells you about screenwriting, and that if you want to endear the audience to a hero, they must have a save the cat moment. In the original Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman literally saves a cat in a tree.
Mhm.
And, hey, he's willing to do all these heroic things. You know what? Save a cat. He does nice things.
That was a dumb scene.
Elio, yes, it is. Elio is an asshole. And the same thing with Riri Williams in Ironheart is also only does things for herself. She's incredibly selfish. And I feel it's a reflection of the generation that is involved creatively in these projects. They don't know values, and they don't understand what makes a hero, whether it's a superhero or just the lead protagonist in a movie who you're supposed to identify with. And identifying with a character doesn't mean you need to look like them.
Mhm.
And there's a bad ideas that have seeded themselves into fiction, comics, movies, video games, that you must look like the protagonist in order to identify. No. I mean, there's plenty of things I saw as a kid where I didn't look like the character, where I identified with that person. So
yeah, but you brought out the evolution of that. Is you need to empathize and sympathize for a character because of their identity, not what they do, not what they believe, not what their goals are. Is by the pure fact that Elio is Latino, that we are supposed to sympathize with him. Especially when he steals the ham radio from a white kid.